Chondro, corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro, corner watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
From the shadows we move, striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro corner where we make our name. Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner. Chondro corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Every scale tells a tale, every clutch a dream. Working the grind, we reign supreme. In every corner, the potential's real. Chondro corner, where we seal the deal. Chondro corner, 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 Chondro corner. Every scale tells a tale, every clutch a dream. Working the grind, we reign supreme. In every corner, the potential's real. Chondro corner, where we seal the deal. Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Chondro corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Chondro corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Chondro corner, 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 Chondro corner.
What is up? What is up, everybody? What's going on, Reptile family? Thank y'all for tuning in for the 15th episode of the Chondro Corner here on the Herp Collectors Network. I'm Ro, one half of the Chondro Corner. I'm saying my PIC Jen. I'm sure she's here in the comments. Nothing really going on here. We got a few things going on here. That I'm very excited about. This upcoming about 2 or 3 months, we'll have some new little chondros coming in. So very excited about that. Other than that, I got the move coming up next month. Moving everything to North Carolina. Hopefully that's my last duty station. I'm stationed at. Other than that, not too much going on here, at Rose Reptiles. Oh yeah, thank y'all for whoever reached out to Ruben. Ruben going through a little troubled times. So prayers up to Ruben and his family or whatnot. Thank y'all for reaching out and collecting up those chondros or neos for him. And Ruben, if you're watching, just let us know, man, if we can help you out any further. Let's see who in the chat tonight. Got your girl, Shauna. What's going on? Thank you for your support. We got Marcus and Tiffany. What's going on? Thank you. You already know Bosa is going to be in every chat. I don't know how he do it. He going to be in every chat, man. What's going on, Jared? Hey, man. Hey, you doing big things over there with Whiskey Bomb Network, man. I'm loving every episode and all that, man. Good work. And we already know we got the guest of honor right there. Mike Marshall coming out with some crazy heat, this year and, further on for real, honestly. Then we got Big Huncho. What's going on, Mike? There she is, PIC Jen. What's going on? How you doing, man? How you doing? I'm saying, got my boy, Whiskey Warriors, Weekend Warriors. My boy T Kizzle on the green tizzle. Then we got my boy James Perry, picking up some crazy heat. Like, hey man, I'm excited at what you got coming out, bro. I'm really excited. You growing up everything the right way and all that stuff. You got your boy B-Lock. I think, yeah, B-Lock. That's how we're gonna do it. Then we're gonna go with my boy Jordan. Y'all already know, man. Heartland Reptiles. If you ain't got no enclosure by now, then you slacking, man. You slacking. Who else we got up in this chat? We already know we got Nikki and Kurt. I'm pretty sure Kurt right next to Nikki, so You know, we got Nikki and Kurt. Thank y'all for what y'all do for the community. What's going on? We got your boy Dan up in here. Hey, we got Dan coming up on one of these episodes. I believe it's next month. I'm pretty sure. Dan, I'm gonna hit you up, you know, later on this week so we can confirm that. What's going on, man? Santos, what's going on, bro? Hey, man, I need to see you back on TikTok live, man, with them animals, man. We could go ahead, you know, host something together, bro. Who else we got up in here? T Johnson, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing? Arc Adventures, what's going on? What's going on? Python Prince, what's going on? What is going on? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for y'all support. Thank y'all for coming through, man. Hey, this dude right here, can't say enough about him, man. Hey, boy, Phil, appreciate, you know, what you're doing for the community. Thank you. You know, we gonna work this thing out and get it running. That's all I need to say. So without further ado, we bring our boy out, Mikey Marsh, upcoming chondro breeder. You know, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy this year with him. What it do, bro? How you doing?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
All is well, man. All is well. Just enjoying this weather.
Yeah, enjoying the
while y'all up there freezing.
I think -8 they said tonight. It's gonna be cold here tomorrow, and then it gets a little bit warmer back up into like the 20s and 30s, I think, for the weekend. But it's gonna be cold tomorrow. Tonight and tomorrow is gonna be real bad.
Oh man.
So
hey, stay bundled up there, man. Stay bundled up.
Oh yeah, we got the heat. We got the heat going.
Yeah. So we're gonna roll into your bio, you know, what you do for a living, for, you know, to help this addiction that we all have. And then we're gonna roll into the snakes, like when you started, what got you into snakes and chondros, reptiles preferably, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been a physical therapist now for 15 years. Now I kind of oversee PTOT and speech in the hospital. So we've been quite busy the last few years since COVID. So that's what pays the bills, and that's what helps fund the addiction. I picked crazy expensive hobbies, chondros and golf. So I just work to pay the hobbies off. But
literally, that's why I feel like
yeah,
too.
That's about it. I don't do much else other than that. Work, golf, and then the kids. They got their travel sports. So my oldest one plays soccer, and the younger one plays softball. So.
Oh yeah, and the traveling sports can be expensive too.
Oh yeah, it's about to start getting real expensive now. They're 9 and 12, so they're going to start getting some more out of town tournaments and
right
and things like that. So we'll be spending a lot more money on that.
All right. So what got you into the hobby?
So originally, back when I was in like PT school, I was just looking up, you know, different things, cool stuff. You know, I always like dart frogs because they're cool. They're you know, they're colorful. You could have like a little mini rainforest on your desk, you know, for an enclosure. So I had a couple of those, but while, you know, researching those and looking up different things, I stumbled across the green trees. I was like, oh, those look really cool. And then my girlfriend, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she's like, absolutely not, no snakes in the house. I'm not doing that.
Hey, like everybody, like every spouse.
Sure. And back then I was pretty broke too, so like spending $30 on a frog I thought was expensive. And so I kind of forgot about the green trees for a while. So that was maybe back in like 2008 ish, 2007, 2008 when I had a couple frogs. And then after I graduated, got a job, got established in work and stuff. And then just one day, it was like in like the summer or fall of 2019, I was like, I don't know if I stumbled across a picture on Facebook or something. I wasn't in any of the groups yet. And I don't know if somebody just posted a picture and I saw it. I was like, huh, forgot all about those. And then I joined the groups, did some research, was online trying to find some, and then that's kind of when it started in late 2019. And then after joining the groups, it's when we found like you start to learn who's who and who's selling what and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to get too crazy expensive into it, so we were looking at some of the imports and who has the good imports. So we got hooked up with Ryan Burke at Clockwork and picked up a couple Manic-Warrior Neos and kind of.
And what was this? What year was this?
So it was right before COVID hit. I think we shipped. We got them in like February. We paid for them in like February, and then shipped them in March.
Gotcha.
When the weather got a little bit better, but it was like the first week of COVID, so we just got lucky before everything got shut down. I got in like literally right before COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got my first one, and then I don't think I got the second and third in January of 2021. So about almost a year later, we got a couple more imports. We were able to get hooked up with Ryan again, and he got a couple more nice Neos. It was probably one of the last shipments of nice Neos. Hopefully actual captive hatched. But we got a couple nice red Neos there, and kind of the rest is history. And it was like every 3-4 months after that, got another one.
Mm-hmm. So what localities were you looking at?
So I think at the beginning, my favorites were always like more of the poultry stuff, the Manic-Warrior, Sorongs. That nice bright green with that bright blue dorsal. I think that gets everybody, at least for that first one.
Yeah.
Or what catches your eye, you're like, oh, that looks cool. So that's kind of like, and then the prices too. I mean, getting your first animal, we were talking with Lottery Reptiles. They just had a clutch. I don't remember how much they wanted. It wasn't bad compared to prices now. But for the first one, I was like, I can't spend that much right now. Not in the first one. Like, I got to learn how to figure out what I'm doing here. Looking back, I wish I would have bought it.
Hey, everything was a little bit cheaper back in the days. About 3-4 years back, everything was a lot cheaper. Honestly, watching BOX go from $300, $400 to about $600-$700 now is crazy.
Yeah, it was a nice little Neo too. I could have gotten, and then looking back like 2 years later, after like the COVID hit and prices kind of soared and there was like no inventory anywhere. Nobody had anything, and then the prices were pretty high and they were tough to get. Everyone was buying. As soon as something was posted, it was gone a minute later. And I wish I would have gotten it, but it is what it is. I got enough now, though.
Gotcha.
But
so
I mean, originally the Manic-Warrior and the poultry stuff always looked good, and then kind of after that, it was, a little bit of whatever was available at the time. So I got the next one I got from Ryan was a red Cyclops Jayapura. Nice. At least that's what it was labeled as. It was a nice dark maroon Neo. Actually grew up now. It's pretty funky looking. That's cool.
Gotcha. So would you say like today's age, like you're a little bit more selective with your collection of what you let in and other than like what you can find?
Yeah, I'm running out of space now. I did the joint pairing with Kino back in 2023. So I got a couple of yearlings, 3 yearlings from that clutch, and then my clutch is growing out now, and I had a couple other yearlings that I got last year. So just kind of over the last 5 years, accumulated so many that are growing up now that are all into adult enclosures, and once you get them into those bigger enclosures, it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah,
the downfall of these things. So.
For sure. Well, but a lot of people, they don't understand that you don't need that many. You maybe need about 3-4 females, and about
Yeah.
2 3 males, because they can really go from, you can go from 5 6 chondros to about 18 real fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It
Yeah.
happens real quick. My clutch was last year was 18 out of 20 eggs hatched. So I mean, I doubled my collection size, overnight. With just the babies. Obviously, they're in a rack,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't take up much space. But I'm planning on keeping 8 of them. So that'll need a grow out rack, and then hopefully all 8 of those are spectacular, and I keep them all, and then I'll need 8 more enclosures. So that pretty much doubles what I have right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it grows fast once you start breeding. That's for sure.
Yep.
But I
So
agree
how do
with you.
you how do you pick out like the pairings for your breeding projects?
Well, I mean, my first pairing was pretty easy because it was my 2 oldest animals. I probably could have done 2 different males or 3 different males, but it was my best male and my only of age female at the time. So that
Mm-hmm.
kind of that made it easy. And going into that though, I got the female from Kino back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
She was like 2.5, 3 years old when I got her. I mean, so that was the plan all along, was to get that female and then uh, pair her up with my male that sired this recent clutch. Uh, so that was planned out way back in early 22 when I acquired the female. Um, and that was, I don't know if you ever heard Patrick talk on any of the podcasts, but the East West cross, going with the that male is all poultry, and to the Cyclops female, so he has that bold dorsal,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then that female's got the nice blue, that like teal blue wash to her. So hoping for some nice blues, or coming through the body with time, so that bright blue dorsal that kind of washes down the body.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be lucky if I could get a couple of those. That would be nice to get that. Hopefully you get one too.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Hey man, hey, it's coming nicely, coming through nicely. I just
There's
I made a mistake, and what I'm saying, felt a little low on my little rat production, not rat production, but rodent little stash or whatever, because I order everything for cold blooded, so it might take
Mhm.
about a week to get here,
Okay.
probably. But I can always
All
go
right.
down to the local little pet shop, go pick up some mice real quick, and feed off. But yeah, man, like it's coming along real nicely. The blue dorsal, the teal blue.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
getting
nice.
a little lighter under the belly, so it's gonna get ready to start changing. So real
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. So your first pairing was, your first pairing on your own was the artifact sarong
To
to
a
the cyclops.
Cyclops. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I got lucky. That was my only possible pairing, at least to do safely or whatever.
Gotcha.
Of
And
age.
how did you get that female, to breed, cycling and stuff? Do you cycle?
Yeah, I did. So I planned it out with like her. I keep a spreadsheet for all my animals, uh, with their shed cycles, all their meals, and weights and stuff like that from time to time. I used to weigh a lot more, so I know Kino's going to make fun of me. But I used to weigh more often. Now I don't weigh that much because I got too many animals. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kind of kept track, making sure that her weight was up, and then tracking her shed cycles. So I didn't want to pair and then her go into shed and then have to separate them. So I kind of timed it up and timed the temp cycling up to when she was going to be in shed, or after when she was in shed. So started dropping temps. She should shed sometime in like late September that year. And then, so I started dropping temps a little bit early September, like a half a degree a week. Um, so then by the time I got to late September, my night drop was down to like 76 for like when she shed out, and I paired them up right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kept dropping the temps until I got to about 74. Um, and then I just upped the feeding. So if there was any action, I just left them alone. And as soon as they'd separate, for like a day or so, and they didn't show any interest, that's when I would feed. So it worked out that they would kind of be interested in each other for about 3-4 days, take a day or two off, I'd feed, and then like 3 days after that, 2-3 days, I'd pair them back up. So it was like every 7 to 10 days or so would feed and pair back up.
Got you.
And I just
Yeah.
kept doing that as long as they were locking, and then that went on from like early October to early December, and then she refused her first meal. I kept them paired up a little bit, then she refused again the next week, and that's when she showed like no interest in him. He was still going at it, but she wanted nothing to do with it. You put him in the cage, and she just ran to the corner. He would just be on top of her the whole time. So I take him out, and she goes right to the heat. And I just kind of took that as a sign to keep him out, and she'd do what she needed to do. Because she wasn't dropping her tail, there was no interest from her. She would just tuck her head and kind of hide if he was in the cage. So I left him out. I know a lot of people leave the male in until they ovulate, but if he was there, she was hiding. She would run off to the cold spot and hide in the corner. So I just left him out and rolled with it, and she just stayed under the heat panel from mid-December into let's see, I'll pull it up.
And did you notice the ovulation when she ovulated?
Oh yeah, it was pretty obvious. She doesn't move. She's not very active. So like right now, and pretty much all day, she just sits in one spot. At nighttime, she kind of stretches out from the back perch to the front perch right by the glass. And then same thing, once she refused food, she just sat in the middle, perfectly perched right underneath the heat panel, and never moved. Didn't move an inch. And then going into the ovulation, she started getting restless that day, and then that night she just exploded. So she would stretch out. You could see her belly swelling. It was pretty obvious that was the ovulation. So she did really everything like textbook.
Yeah. Hey, that's good when you got them like that.
Yeah,
make it easier. Make it easier, man.
Yeah, maybe I did things right, or just got lucky. Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know, but it worked out, and everything kind of went pretty smooth.
And who walked you through the process, or like you just was listening to podcasts and did your own research?
I mean, it was a little bit of everything. I mean, really, I got shout out to Kino.
Oh yeah, for sure. Shout out Kino and Trav, Chondro Barroom.
If we backtrack a few years back to probably late 2020, is when I got hooked up with Kino. I don't know. I think I commented on a post or something that somebody had on Facebook, and then he probably clicked on it and found out I was from local. We're both outside of. He's in Chicago. I'm south suburbs, and he just reached out, and we just it connected then, and by default he became my mentor. I just bounce out ideas, questions, just kind of listen.
Same here, man.
And then, once he had hit that first clutch that he had, then he started doing the Instagram lives and stuff, and and all that, and then going with the Chondro Barroom and all that stuff. It made it easier. But I had MJ's podcast that he was doing, and I think Facebook was a little bit better back then. I think he still has some crazy posts and some people that didn't listen and all that. But I think some of the bigger name people, they were more often giving advice and different things on different posts. So just did some research with all that. But for the most part, I talked to Kino 100 times a day.
Hey man, matter of fact, y'all stay away from Kino. He will pressure you to buy animal. I'm letting you know right now. I'm letting you know right now. Do not talk to Kino.
Yeah, that's he had a big. I tell everybody he had a big plan because we both like Arfax.
Yeah,
and that,
for sure.
And that kind of that crazy look that they could throw. But he has a clutch mate to mine. His girl Axiom is a clutch mate to my male that sired my clutch, and then the clutch with Kino. And it's from Pat, but somebody else was selling it out of California. And so I texted him, I go, hey, what do you think about that? And he's like, buy it right now. I'm like, man, that's a little bit out of my range right now. He's like, buy it right now. Not thinking like, a year later, I was just going to give it to him on a breeding loan to pair up with one of his females. So I think he had that master plan that we were going to pair up those his girl and my guy. So he talked me into buying it. But yeah, he will talk you into buying some stuff.
I'm telling y'all,
So
stay
maybe
away.
he could talk you into buying one of mine.
Hey man, yeah, we gonna get into that. So walk me through after ovulation.
After that, it was, so she ovulated on January 10th. Her first refusal was December 14th, ovulated on January 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-lay shed was on day 24, 25. And then that's when after she shed and shit, that's when I got the nest box. I had it in there, but once she went into shed, I pulled it because she wasn't going to move.
Mm-hmm.
So after she had her shed, that's when I got the nest box for sure in there and got the temps right in the box. I tried to keep the temps up in there around like 84-ish. And then on day 30 is when she kind of really started going in and out post ovulation. And by day like 38, 39, she was exclusively in a nest box. So I pulled all the perches, but she didn't come out. And then she laid on day 42 post ovulation.
So what kind of enclosure you had her in, with the nest box?
Just her normal enclosure. It's a 30 by 20 by 20 with the heat panel.
So you pulled everything out, substrate, what you had down, what, puppy pad?
Puppy pads are normal, on the bottom of the enclosure, and I used was it sphagnum moss?
Yeah, sphagnum moss, yeah.
In the lay box. So
okay.
Kind of like the standard stuff.
Yeah, the standard
uses. I wasn't trying to recreate nothing. If it works for other people that have done this 100 times, then
exactly.
That's good enough for me. Don't need to recreate anything with that.
Don't reinvent the wheel. If it ain't for you might could, like tune it a little bit, but don't change it up too much, man.
Yeah. I mean, some of the basic stuff.
Yeah.
There's some things that you got to change depend on like where you're located. Like up here right now, it's super dry. The heat's cranking. I can't keep humidity up. So, maybe, I got to run a humidifier and spray, but other people don't have to do that. So that type of stuff you got to tweak. But like the basic stuff, you don't really need to tweak too much, especially with like breeding. If it worked 100 times for other people, don't get too crazy.
Okay.
And reinvent anything.
So, after she laid the eggs, walk us through how you set up your egg box.
Well, actually, I got the incubator at NARBC Tinley back in the September.
What kind
before,
of incubator?
So like sea serpents, the small one was a 24-inch.
Yeah.
So I got that back in September at Tinley and got that set up. Or actually, I got that in March before I paired them up. So then I got it up and running over the summer and tested it out, make sure the temps were good. And the egg box that I liked was the one that Alex Warren did, that clear plastic shoe box.
Yeah.
The only difference I did was a vermiculite perlite mix substrate with the light grade over the top of it. I got kids, so I didn't want to take the chance of like my one daughter playing, come downstairs with a soccer ball or something and bump in the incubator and it splashing or something like that. So I just did saturated.
Because I believe Alex used water substrate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I didn't want to take a chance that somebody bump it. They didn't, but you never know if they come down playing or something. where
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting right now is my wife's office down in the basement with all the snakes. So when she's working, sometimes they come down here. Yeah, I just want to take a chance. So I did the substrate, totally saturated. I didn't measure anything out. The eggs weren't touching it, so I wasn't
Right.
too worried about that.
So what did you
Um,
have it on, like a little what was the gap between it? What you use?
like a half inch or so. Like it was like 2 layers of the light grate.
Yeah. Okay. The little crate
Or
thing.
light diffuser thing or whatever that is from Home Depot.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
did that. So we had 20 eggs. They all candled pretty well. All had really good veins on it. The only problem I had the whole time was 2 eggs. Um, they looked like they got like saturated in water on like day 4.
Mhm.
One of them looked like it was like totally saturated, like someone just like spilled water on it, but there was no condensation on the lid or anything, so no water actually got on it. It just looked like it got totally soaked. Um, so that egg actually made it the whole way, but I had to put it in its own egg box and do more to control the humidity to
Yeah.
keep it from like looking like it was just dripping wet. But I got it
Got
to go to day 52, and then
Oh,
just looked
it was
awful.
right there. It was
It was
right
so
there.
close. I think the it was underdeveloped. So
Hmm.
whether the temps weren't right or what, or just it tried,
Yeah.
but it was a little bit small. It was fully colored. It was a red neo. They're all red neos.
Hmm.
But it probably died maybe a couple days early. Um, and it was just a little bit undersized because the temps I had to put it on a separate shelf, so the temps were maybe like a little bit cooler, like a half a degree or a degree off. So maybe
Hmm.
it had like 2 or 3 more days to go, and was just didn't make it. But it tried. It made it the whole way, or almost the whole way.
Got
And then
you.
I had one other one that did make it the whole way. It probably died a couple days early. The egg never went bad, but I don't know if it was starting to move around in the egg and kind of got trapped upside down and got like trapped on itself. And I don't, I guess it drowned, but I cut it on day 52 and it was like upside down in the egg and it was dead, but it was fully formed, red baby, uh, just a little
Shit.
bit smaller. So maybe it died a few days early, but
Heartbreaker
yeah, I'll take 18 out of 20. I mean,
for
it's a
sure.
blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
The 18 babies is, sounds like a great thing, but it's just a ton of
A
work.
lot of work, a lot of tedious work. But
Yeah,
do you candle the eggs as soon as they come out? The clutch is laid, or do you
I
wait a
did.
few?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Because
candled them. I separated them. After she beehived on them and really coiled up real tight. She did that while she was laying while I was at work. So then I got home. Um, she was probably maybe on them for an hour or two, really tightly coiled before I pulled her. Most of the eggs had kind of firmed up pretty well. I think there's like 1 or 2 that were still a little bit soft, but they were able to. Most of them separated pretty easy. A couple that were stuck together, but
yeah,
was able to get them off, just real gentle. But
because I heard,
um,
I heard some people, they'll separate them, but don't candle them until maybe about 3 or 4 days in the incubator. Then they'll candle them and see, what a embryo is. So,
yeah, I did it right away, and then I marked them and put them in there, and I never touched them again,
hmm,
with the exception of the 2 that kind of developed like those wet spots.
got you.
Uh, yeah, I candled them right away, and marked them, and then put them into the incubator, into the egg box, and then the incubator. But yeah, after that, I didn't touch them. I wiped the lid every about week or so, early on, and then like every like 3 days towards the end.
All
Um,
right, all right. Well, take us to Pippin Day. How was that? Do you cut the eggs, or you just let the first one pip and
yeah.
you know?
So at some point during in the middle of the incubation, I think I had like one day where the temps might have got a little bit warmer. I did 87.2, so that way it gave me a little bit of wiggle room up or down.
Mhm.
I'm in my basement, so with the winter and spring, like the temps could fluctuate a lot. If it warms up really good outside, the heat doesn't kick on, and then it gets cold, so it'll go hot and cold. Uh, so I just want to make sure that I could, go up or down a little bit and still be in a good range. That was at least what I thought. So, but I think I got a day where the temps had spiked in the incubator for whatever reason, up to like 87.5 or 87.6 for a day while I was at work. I don't know if the heat kicked on really high that day or what it was. Uh, you know, so I had 3 eggs pip on the night of day 49. And then that's when I had talked with like Keno, Patrick,
What
and everybody.
what day was that?
And the night of day 49. So like 12 hours early. It wasn't, nothing crazy.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe it's just because a couple days got a little bit warm in the incubator, closer to maybe that 87.5. So it'd be like a day 50 hatch.
Yeah.
So Pat just said, because some of them were really dented, and then there's some that weren't. He's like, if they start denting and you start seeing them move, cut them. So I let them go about probably close to 24 hours before I cut them. So like the next evening after I got home from work, that's when I cut them. So I just cut like a little slit on each side of the egg. Nothing crazy, just a little tiny slit. Didn't really rip them open or anything to see what they looked like or anything like that. It's nothing like the ball python guys. And then I just left them alone. And then it was kind of like after I did that, like every hour, one would start popping its head out and popping their head out. So pretty much throughout the night of day 50 into day 51 is when most of them came out. And then there was a few stragglers that came out on day 52. But by the end of day 52, everybody was perched up or out of the egg at least. So
Got you.
Except
So
for those 2 eggs.
So establishing, how do you establish your neos?
I left them alone. I didn't try feeding or anything until they had their first sheds. They all but one shed within like a day of each other. And then there was one that actually one of the biggest ones and one of the best eaters didn't shed, and it shed maybe a week after them. But I fed him anyway, or her, whatever it was. But I waited till after the first shed to
what you was feeding them at that point?
I just went for day old pinks. I didn't do any of the red hots. So I chick down. I had that. I tried feeding without the chick down first. There was a couple that took right away. I was like, man, this is easy. I don't know what all the fuss is about. And then that was like the first 2 ate right away, and then after that, none of them ate, and I'm like, oh man. Then a couple ate with chick.
You curse yourself, jinx yourself.
Right? Then a couple ate with the chick down, and I think I want to say I got like 9 of the 18 to eat that first night. Some of them ate right away, just like tap them, then they would strike and eat. And then the other 9 didn't eat right away. I'm like, damn, they're all gonna die, like freaking out. But every few days, maybe every like 2 days, I try for the others, and then usually like get one more to eat, and then the next time one more would eat. I want to say by the end of the first month, I was able to.
That was this pairing right here, correct?
Yep, that's them.
From this pairing. Nice. And you still have one available from?
Yeah, that one on the left.
The one on the left still available.
Yeah.
I seen it. And then I also have a clutch mate from this clutch. So man, they some nice animals. I can't wait. How they turn out. I'm thinking, that foam green, bluish look. So.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So it's gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna look like the mom, but with a little bit more a little bit more pattern on the dorsal.
Yeah, they all got that real bold dorsal from their dad. So we'll see. It'll be fun to see how they all turn out. But yeah, they slowly everyone ate. You just got to keep with it. It took like every feeding, every time it was offered, like another one would eat. But they take a lot of teasing. You tease them a little bit, tap here. You kind of learn what they need to do: a tap on the nose, a tap on the neck, a tap on the tail. I tried. There was a few that were real stubborn that I tried everything with. Chick down, tap the nose, tap the tail, tap the neck, pinch them
Hmm.
with the tongs. Try and just get them to strike. For the most part, all that stuff worked with most of them, and I had 3 stragglers that didn't seem like anything was working. I don't know if I'd call them runners, but you could tell that they're getting stressed like super quick. So those I just decided to assist. Uh,
Hmm.
that was right when Bill was talking about all the chicken gizzards,
Yeah.
and that was, I like the using the adult mouse legs. That works really well too. You just stick it in their mouth and it kind of gets stuck. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of work to cut those legs up and get them prepped.
Hmm.
Whereas the chicken gizzards for like $2 at Walmart, you get a package of gizzards. You could freeze a couple and then
Exactly.
you just cut them up to whatever size you need. Throw them
Hmm.
in some warm water for a few seconds and then just stick it in their mouth.
Right.
And honestly, I wish I would have done it sooner, especially for some of the ones that were kind of getting stressed out with the tease feeding. Um,
But what do you
it was
think it's
just
about? What do you think of like what is it about the chicken gizzard? Maybe it's a different scent, of course, but what do you think?
I don't know. It's just easier to feed them, to be
Mhm.
honest. I
You
did
know,
have a few of them that would strike and wrap a gizzard.
yeah.
So I'd alternate with the pinks and that too, which
Mhm.
worked out fine. If they were eating pinks, they would eat the gizzard, and I could go back and forth, and it wasn't a big
Yeah.
deal. But with the ones that were stubborn, I had to assist. The gizzards, it was just easy because you could just cut them up, and
Yeah.
about the size of a pink, maybe a little bit smaller. I think I tried to do like about the size of their head and like their mouth,
Hmm.
because like when you just get it in their mouth, and they couldn't get it out. I found like
Right.
if you went too big, they could kind of eventually like pull it out of their mouth, or if you pushed it down too far, like in kind of like their throat, not like just the back of the mouth, they would kind of freak out.
Mhm.
But if you just kind of got into like the mouth and like to the back of the mouth, they didn't freak out and they just would take it down and swallow.
Right.
Uh,
I
so
find like
just
the ones that's stuck on gizzards or whatnot. I would like get a rodent and I would warm the rodent up. Dip it in hot water,
yeah,
warm it up, and then I would dip that rodent in like some chicken gizzard, juices or what. I just have a pack of
hmm
chicken gizzards. I dip it in there, and then I give it to them because they have that scent, but they need that bone and fur and all that stuff to
yep,
properly push out, defecate.
yeah. Chuck had a good idea the other day. So he gave him a small gizzard, and his Neo would eat the gizzard, and while it was eating the gizzard, he held a pink by its mouth, and it just like took the pink and wrapped.
Hmm.
So I wish I would have thought of that, because that's a pretty good
Hey
idea.
man, Chuck be
Um,
coming up with all kind of crazy stuff, and
I
it
mean, it
works.
makes sense.
And it
You know,
works.
usually like once you get them to start eating and figuring out how to eat, it seems like they caught on pretty quick.
Hmm.
I'm sure. I mean, I had a couple stubborn ones that took a few months, but um, I probably was a little bit slower with getting back to being a little bit more aggressive with the tease feeding. I just didn't want to stress them out too much.
Yeah.
They were growing, they were putting on size. So I was just like, I'll give them a couple taps. If they struck, they struck. I'd
Yeah.
keep going. But if they weren't striking and kind of you could see they start tucking their head, I'm like, all right, I'll just pick their head up, stick a gizzard in their mouth, walk away, and then come back a few minutes later after I ate it and give them another small gizzard.
Hmm.
So it was just as good as a pink, and they're pretty much the same size, a little bit smaller than the others that got started right away, but they're still good size, healthy. Um, Now they're all eating really well. So
Yeah.
uh,
I think, establishing is the most important part of his life. You have to
yeah,
get it to understand that it's going to feed every 4 or 5 days. And,
hmm
you cannot skip a day. You can't wait. You can't let it go, a week and a half or a week and 3 days. You have to have it every four or
yeah,
5 days and get it, up the sides until it can,
yeah,
wait every 6, 7 days, you
yeah.
know.
I agree with you on that. I wish I could have been more. So the blessing and the curse at 18. It's always nice having more neos, but then you had 18 neos on different schedules.
Mm-hmm.
That was the hard part while trying to get them all established, was spending 2, 3 hours, 4 hours sometimes, trying to get them to eat. Um, every night, every other night, whatever it is, you have somebody on a different type of schedule. A handful that were eating, you try and keep them on, their 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. And then, some of those stubborn ones that you're trying to get established, you're just trying every couple days, every few days,
Yeah.
to get them to go. So you end up being like almost every night trying to feed these things. And it gets pretty frustrating. I'm not going to lie. But you might want to, throw one across the room for not eating, or they strike, wrap, drop, strike, wrap, drop. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill you.
Got
But you just stick to it, and then eventually, I know some people have had some die, but was able to supplement with the gizzards
Mm-hmm.
right away to kind of get that going.
Yeah.
It all worked
So
out.
did you have any prolapse in that clutch?
No,
Okay, but that's
no, I
good.
got lucky.
That's
Yeah.
good. Hey, let's
It
keep
looked
it
like
going.
a few were going to, but then they didn't. So,
Mm-hmm.
but,
So how did you pick out your holdbacks from that clutch?
there's a few that you definitely look at and you're like, wow, you're different. One of those one of the two eggs that that kind of looked like they were going bad early. The one ended up being fine and put the powder on it, and that one that stayed with the rest and went the distance. I think it was the first one to hatch
Mm-hmm.
on day 49. Ended up being the darkest Neo. So that one I kept. Had a pretty good heavy pattern to it too. But then I looked at like who had the brightest diamonds, who had the
And can
thickest
we
dorsal.
see some of those? Are they active right now?
Yeah. I mean, I could.
Oh, you don't have to move it. You could just come back to the desk. Oh well.
Oh no, I gotta. I'll flip it over because I got a light over there. Yeah, I could show you a couple.
A nice setup, man. I'm trying to get some of that like that.
So
Oh
that's the
man.
baby that's available. I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
that.
Can you flip the camera? Landscape it.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Nice.
That's the one that's available. That's the one I posted on Instagram yesterday.
Mhm.
And
Nice.
the rest are holdbacks.
Oh, that thing dark.
There's a holdback. This is the darkest one. This was the darkest baby.
Look at them diamonds.
Yeah.
Them diamonds are very yellow. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is one of my favorites, just because it was a little bit of a pain in the butt. It ate the first day, right
Mhm.
after it shed, and then it didn't eat again for like a month. And then the day it decided to eat, it just got super aggressive.
That one heavily patterned right there.
Yeah, this one was
Sheesh.
one of the biggest Neos, but ended up being the biggest pain in the ass. It didn't
Sheesh.
eat. So this one I had to assist feed for a while, but it eventually got with the program,
Mhm.
and it switched on with button quail.
Button quail. Where did
Yep.
you get your button quail from?
From Blake's.
Blake Exotic Feeders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
He
thing.
was super helpful. I
Yeah,
just got like
they ready, bro. They
it was like
when
my
it's feeding day.
oh, here's this one. I'll show you that.
What? Ooh, sheesh.
That's from Lupe, Space City Chondros.
Yeah, shout out to Lupe, man. That's
That
crazy.
one's looking good. I don't know what that one's gonna turn into, but it's looking pretty good.
Yeah. I know Lupe, like, man.
Yeah.
I know he is. So,
But
okay.
I gotta give it to him though. We did a trade, and I'd picked that one out probably a month or so before we shipped, and it didn't look anything like that. It just looked like a normal Neo.
Right.
And then like 2 days before shipping, it shed out, and it just kept getting darker and darker and darker and darker. And he still shipped it. So
Nice.
I mean, shout out to him for being a stand-up guy.
For sure, for sure. So
Really?
husbandry, how's your husbandry?
Oh, my daughter wants to say hi to everybody.
What's going on? What's going on, future breeder?
I have a Chinese sickness. It's called me so tired.
Okay. You're so tired. This is,
How you like it? How you liking the snakes?
I like them.
Who's your favorite?
Charlie.
You think you'll ever breed?
Huh?
I said, you think you'll ever breed or keep snakes?
Maybe.
Maybe we might got a future breeder. There you go.
Yeah. Right now, she just helps me with some stuff. Yeah, she helps a little bit. Her favorites are the first one that we got. We called him Charlie.
Nice.
That's her favorite. He's pretty big, but he's gentle, so he
Mhm.
doesn't mind if you hold it a little bit. He'll just kind of crawl onto your arm and stuff.
So how your husbandry, like what kind of enclosures you keep your chondros in? Substrate.
So I mean, getting into it, I guess that would be like one tip I have is just kind of keep it simple and do what works for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with I kind of did like a makeshift little shoebox tub, made like a double tub out of some Rubbermaids and a heat pad for my first one until a little PVC cube came, and it grew out for a couple months. We made sure it was okay in that little tub, and then we put it in the cube so we could see it and stuff, because there's our only one, and you buy them, they're nice, you want to see them. But I would just say keep it simple, do what works, especially like your first few, until you understand what's going on with the babies. It's always nice having trees and plants and stuff, and a bioactive would be really cool, but it doesn't work. I mean, people have proven it, especially if you got a bunch and you don't know what you're doing. It looks cool, but it's probably not the best setup. But keeping it simple, and I do for everything, they're in some form of PVC. So the racks or the adults are in 30 by 20 by 20s with a heat panel and just an LED. They all got a simple substrate. So on the tubs, it's paper towels. If it's the bigger tubs, the Chondros, I'll either do a puppy pad, or I did like craft paper and kind of cut them to size in there just to keep it clean. But the puppy pads work great. Up here in Chicago, it's nice in the summer, hot and humid, so everything's great. But in the wintertime, once it gets cold and the heat kicks on, the humidity goes from like 50% down to like 30, 25.
Yeah.
And so just dumping a ton of water in the puppy pad, it'll keep it, 50. It'll spike up to like 70%, 75%, and then kind of drop down over a couple days back down to like 50%. And then you could spray or repeat or whatever with water changes. So that for me is what's worked.
Do you use tap water or bottled water? What you use?
Tap water.
Okay.
Chicago water is pretty good. I'm sure we still got crap in it, but it's better than most. So I got like a cheap filter on the faucet, so it pulls out like chlorine and lead, which wasn't in there anyways, but just to make sure if it's out, and then that way I could just pour it right into the bowls. So yeah, most of it's just tap. I tried doing filtered water, but once I got more than like 3 or 4, it started to be like a hassle. So
yeah,
I just fill up a bunch of gallons of water for water change day, swap out all the bowls, put new ones in, and then just go cage to cage and dump the water in. Just makes it easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So where was going with next with that? Damn. Brain fart. Yeah, with husband. Okay, so
I do standard temps.
Yeah. So what do you keep your adult females in and your male adults in?
I keep everybody the same. So
Okay.
right now the baby rack is set to 86. So that back wall is like 85 ish on the back wall of the tub, and the front of the tub's like 78, 79.
Gotcha.
Um, the grow out Cambro rack is like 84 on the back side, uh, right off the heat tape, and then the front of it's like 78, 79. No night
Hmm.
drop on those. I'll probably start night dropping them soon, and get them as they get closer to their adult enclosures. Once they go to their adult enclosures, I'll have them kind of cycled to like 83 to 84 under the panel during the day, uh, and the cool side's like 78 to 80, and then I'll night drop to like 78 or 79 under the panel, and then my
Hmm.
room usually sits like 69 to 74, depending on the weather and how much the heat or the air is kicking on. But I usually try and keep it above 70, like 70, 71. I got like a
Hmm.
little space heater, that air filter thing that I got, to try and keep it pretty close to 70, 71 year round.
Gotcha.
So
So you started off with imports, and what would you say about imports now? You'll bring them into
uh,
your collection.
yes, with caution.
Hmm.
You know, I've had a few. I've killed a few. I think I tried to rush a couple. Some came with Nido, never even made it past the day. I never made out of quarantine. I couldn't even ship them back. Some of them died right away. Um,
Sheesh. Oh man.
but overall, I mean, if you know what you're doing and you can quarantine and you're prepared, I don't have a problem with imports. But if
Hmm.
you think you're going to get a fresh imported adult and throw it into an enclosure and mess with it and look at it, you're probably going to kill it,
Hmm.
or stress it out a lot and going to have a hard time. So if you could not touch it, not look at it, just feed it and keep it clean, um, you'll probably be okay.
Hmm.
So I like them. I'm for them. You just got to understand what you're going to do with them and what they can do and tolerate. So yeah, I'm all for imports in the right scenario, but I wouldn't do it as your first one. Maybe like back in the day, like those Neos that we were getting, an established Neo from like Ryan and other people that did it right.
Yeah.
That's a good starter. It's sometimes a little bit harder trying to reestablish a Neo. Fortunately, I didn't have to do that. Um, it took like a week or so for mine to start eating the first one that I got, but that wasn't bad. Um, but getting some of these imports that are straight off the boat or right out of the plane, that they're being flipped, that could be a little bit tougher.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So like your quarantine practices, what do you do? Like when you get a Neo or import in, you know?
First thing, I mean, checking for mites. So luckily, all of mine came from Ryan or Dan, so they were treated for mites before I got them. But I still checked. Um, as soon as I get them in, I bring them into my laundry room and I soak them. So I put them
Hmm.
in like a little Rubbermaid and give them a soak for at least a good 2-3 hours. Some a little bit longer. Luckily, I haven't had too many come in looking like they're in like terrible shape. But I still would soak them for a little bit. Um, After that, I'd put them in their tub or enclosure with the paper towel with the mite spray on it. No
Hmm.
water or anything. Just put them in there and double check for mites and all that. So they do 24 hours with that. Check the paper towel on the bottom, see if you see any mites. Fortunately, knock on wood, I haven't had a problem with that. Um, so that's been good.
And
And then
where do you get the mite spray from?
I just did the lice spray. So from like Walgreens or whatever,
Okay.
Walmart, the permethrin or whatever it's called spray, and then just saturate a paper towel, let it dry, and then put it in the enclosure.
Hmm.
Um, so I did that, and like I said, fortunately, none of the ones that I got had any mites. I've heard some nightmare stories of people getting them covered in. and tearing up a collection. But luckily I got them from some good importers that took care of that before I got them. That was nice.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But
So
after
I
that,
know you had a few practices with cleaning them out. Do you want to walk us through that? How to somewhat clean out an
yeah.
import?
So two, I had two that I tried, I think, rushing with, and feeding
Mm-hmm.
right away and like getting them going, like just being really excited to have them and feed them, and they didn't do well. I think they were still a little dehydrated, probably had parasites and just super stressed, and then stressed them even more with trying to feed them, and they went downhill quick.
Mm-hmm.
So the other ones, fortunately, I took my time, soaked them, put them in the enclosure, did the 24-hour mite treatment, and then just left them alone for a while. The Beox I just got last year from Dan, luckily they're somewhat established. He had I think he had them for like a month or so, and had a few meals in them. But I just left them alone, soaked them, left them alone, and I think I tried feeding them after like 2-3 weeks. It was probably 2 weeks when I
Mm-hmm.
first fed them. There was no worms or nothing in their poop, nothing crazy. They seemed like they were acting normal, doing everything normal. So I just left them alone, just kept feeding, let them get established. And then once they got some size on them, they definitely looked like they were more hydrated. I'd weigh them and then treat them with Panicure. I think it's Viridis Python, I think's the website. They got the dosage calculator on there.
Okay.
So I use the 10% Panicure, and just you type in their weight with the 10%, and it tells you like what the dosage is.
Mhm.
So I do that. You just inject it into the mouse, and then treat every 10 to 14 days after that. So I did 3 total doses of like the max dose on with the Panicure. And actually, let's see, I just finished that up in December. So I got them in July, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do treatment until December. So I wouldn't necessarily say that's the recommended thing to do, but they were doing well and putting on size. They were eating, they were drinking, they were doing everything they're supposed to do. So I didn't want to rush it. So I just rather them get better established, get on some more size and wait.
Gotcha.
Then that's when
Do
then I dosed them.
you think it's necessary to flush them out? If you when you do get an import.
I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know if I'd say it's necessary if they're doing well. Um, if they're not doing well, you're probably going to have to get rid of the parasites for sure. But I don't think it's necessary to rush into it. I would consult some better keepers and breeders and people that have imported a lot
Mm-hmm.
on what's best to do, especially when you get adults. They've lived potentially years and years and years with those parasites, and flushing them out could kill them.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
eh, or if you do it too much too fast or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they could that could cause problems too from killing off too many parasites. So I'm no expert. Fortunately, I got lucky, and mine weren't too bad with the 3 or 4 imports that I had to clear out. They weren't too bad.
Got you. So we got
And
a question in the chat. What's your favorite lineage or cross in your collection?
My favorite designer would be my David Brahms Prada animal.
Nice.
That's the Dr. Jones by Mako from 2021, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's those blue poultry type looking animals that they just kind of get that blue wash throughout the body, kind of with age. So that'd be my favorite lineage that I have in my collection right now. And then my favorite cross, I'm really liking Biak outcrosses now. Ever
Yeah,
since I
yeah,
got
man.
that,
Those Beogs give like they throw nice diamonds.
yeah, they throw nice craziness, and that's I
Hmm.
think the fun part. There's so much variety that comes from it. I got that one Sarong uh, Biak outcross from Travis that turned high yellow. So
Sheesh.
uh, so that kind of got me into the Biak outcrosses a little bit more. I mean, I always liked them because they were funky or could be
Hmm.
funky. It was just kind of cool, but I never had one. And then once I got that one from him, and it turned out so nice, I'm like, I got to get more. So yeah, I'm all about the Biaks right now and some of the Biak
Hmm.
outcrosses. Um, my favorite though, pretty much everything in my collection is poultry. You know, I have some
Hmm.
designer outcrosses that are across the poultures. Pretty much everything's got some type of a Storong or a Maniquori in it, or Arfac.
Oh yeah, love some artifact. Gotta have that artifact. Yeah. So
Yeah.
in a perfect world, what is Mike Marshall? Perfect chondro. What do that look like?
Oh damn. That one that Irby's got. That was it Warzone or something? I think he called it. It's that black, blue, yellow, green
I think
kind of
I seen
calico
that.
animal that he
Hmm.
got from. I think he got it from Christian, or I don't remember where he got it from, but that would be perfect. That's just that's a badass animal. Um, yeah, I mean, I like pretty much everything. It's like some people are like, oh, you got to have designers, and other people are like, oh, the Cali's don't. I mean, like they're all nice.
Hmm.
They all got something different that I'm not going to shit on anybody that likes something. Some people like yellow, some people don't. Some people want designers, some people, you know, want just Biox. Like they're all nice in their own way, and if you like it, you like it. So
Right.
my problem is I like all of them. So,
Hey,
but
hey,
if I
that's
was, if
that's a problem right there. That's a big problem.
yeah, yeah. So that's like, fortunately, my wallet doesn't let me like all of them, but I'll always fall back onto like the Sorongs and Maniquori. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, same here. I like the Manicories and the sarongs. I have a sarong from Trav, pure sarong.
Yeah, he
I
made
don't.
some nice Sorongs too.
Hmm.
A lot of those yellow pure Sorongs are turning out real nice. And then that
Oh
red
yeah,
clutch that
sure.
he's not, he only shows off a couple of them from. Those are real nice too. I mean, you can't really beat a red poultry animal.
Yeah. So we come to the end of the show. How can everybody reach you?
Probably the easiest way is on Instagram, MNM_Chondros. Just shoot
Hmm.
me a message on there. And that's probably the easiest way.
Yeah, and he have one available Neo. So don't be shy to hit him up. Do not be shy to hit him up, man. He got some nice stuff coming out as well. Um,
Hopefully,
maybe what
fingers crossed.
another year? Yeah. So
Yeah,
what's next, man?
I got a pure Sarong import female. She's a yellow female. She's real nice. Got a lot of blues in through her body. She's in shed right now. I'm gonna pair her up to an Irby male that's got a lot of
Hmm.
blues, like a blue wash to its body. That turned out pretty nice with the blues. So I'm gonna pair those two up again. I tried in the fall, um, didn't work out. They just didn't. No locks. They didn't really show interest in each other.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna try them again in the spring and see what happens there. And then I got a 4.5, maybe 5-year-old Mizol female, another
Shoot.
yellow Neo that I was thinking about starting the cycle here in like February, March.
Hmm.
And I have my Cyclops Jaya that's a little funky, the red Neo that I got was my second one. Um, I'm thinking it's a male. It's 4 years old, never shed plugs, but it's pretty small. So we're gonna probe it here in the next month or so. And
Okay.
if it's a male, I'm gonna try those two out. I think in March or April or so, and see
Gotcha.
what happens there. So that's what I got for this year. And then hopefully next fall, my Prada female will be like 4.5. And she's a pretty good size now. So if she keeps putting on size like she has been the past year, then I might try her at like 4.5. Otherwise, I'll probably wait till the year after. Or it depends on what happens with those 2 pairings. If I get 2 pairings, I'm not trying a third, I don't think, this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because like I said, you could go. Hey, that's at least I don't know that's probably about 30 plus chondros on your hand.
Yeah, I don't know how Trav did it. He had like 60 neos, and that's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the time or the patience to do that many.
And Trav is a hoarder. Trav, let some of them motherfuckers go, bro. Let some of them go.
Yeah, let me get one of those red.
No, he's sitting on about 30 or 40 plus neos or yearlings. Let some of them
scarred
things
him. I scarred him with that high yellow from his first clutch. I got just an average looking red neo, and it turned out to be the best one.
That's why he holding on to.
He won't. That's 100% why he won't get rid of any of those neos. And I don't blame him. I'd be upset if that was the only one that came out of it and I gave it away.
For sure. Man, Trav, let some on go, bro. Hopefully this year he gonna let some go. I know he got some parents coming up pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But I'm gonna throw you backstage. And then hang out for a little while, finna say goodbye to the people.
All right. Hey man, it's been fun.
Oh yeah, thanks, for sure, man. For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in episode 15 of the Chondro Corner. Thank y'all for replay game. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead, type replay game in the comments, all that good stuff. Ruben, again, prayers go out to you and your family. Let us know how we can help further in this, hard times and stuff. Everybody going through stuff. So thank y'all all for tuning in, coming through. If y'all would like to see anything different on the show, just don't be afraid to hit me up. My name is Vibe with Ro on Instagram. Just hit me up and I'll, answer any questions or, so we can implicate anything in the show. Till then, thank y'all for tuning in. I won't see y'all next Monday. Jen will see y'all next Monday with our guests. And thank you, man. Thank y'all for coming through.
Chondro, corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro, corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
From the shadows we move, striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro corner, where we make our name. Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner. Chondro corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Every scale tells a tale, every clutch a dream. Working the grind, we reign supreme. In every corner, the potential's real. Chondro corner, where we seal the deal. Chondro corner, 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 Chondro corner. When we scale tells a tale, every clutch a dream. Working the grind, we reign supreme. In every corner, the potential's real. Chondro corner, where we seal the deal. Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, Chondro corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Chondro corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Chondro corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Chondro corner, 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 Chondro corner.